So we just concluded the week of Netzach. Now we're starting a whole brand new week of Hod. And last week, Netzach, we were concentrating on being successful and victorious and getting the power of Nitzachon and so forth. But now we're starting a whole new week, and the week is called Hod. And I explained already a few times that Hod can be explained in two ways. Hod can be hodaya, meaning that I thank, being thankful, which is an extremely important midah to constantly be thankful for the good and the bad. But hodaya is also can be admitting, coming from the word in Hebrew lehodot. And I explained that so many times that you wake up in the morning, what do we say? Modeh ani lefanecha. So I thank Hashem for giving me back my soul. But you can take it to a completely different direction and say, Modeh ani lefanecha means I admit in front of you that you are Melech Chai v'Kayam, you are the king that gives life, and you give me life. I'm not doing anything. I'm a balloon of air, and if Hashem decides to go like this, then I'm a nothing. So I admit in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, you are the master of the universe, not me. I don't do anything here. I am literally a puppet. You are the master. This is called hodaya. As one way you have the thanking, another way you have the admitting. This week we're going to focus not on the thanking, rather on the admitting. Thanking, needless to say, it's a no-brainer. You have to be thankful and grateful for everything. The good, the bad, the not so good, the not so bad. Anything that a person does for you, you have to be thankful, and needless to say how much you have to be thankful to the Kadosh Baruch Hu on a daily basis. That's said and put aside. But we're going to more focus on the admitting part. We're starting the week with Chesed of Hod, which comes to teach me something very, very simple, yet very profound and extremely hard to do. That I have to admit to your presence, that you are in my life. Most people don't want to admit that. Most people, they say, I am the life, I am everything. I don't know what you're doing here. You're just here to bother me. So I need to admit your presence in my life. I'll explain everything. I know now it sounds a little bit like, what? Now, what am I admitting exactly? I have to admit, what does that mean that I admit? That I make sure that I give you your space. This is not an easy thing to do because I always look at my needs, my space, my desires, me. I don't care so much about you. Shh, no, I'm talking right now, not you. Why are you pushing? So this is a very bad midah. I need to now completely reverse it and to start admit, wait a minute, you also exist, and you also exist, and you also exist, and you have your thoughts, and you have your desires, and you have feelings, and you have dreams, and I'm one of the people here. I'm not me, and then the world is evolving around me. So we start by admitting that you exist, and you have room in my life. I can't run your life. I can't tell you what to do. I can't expect you to do things. I definitely can't take advantage of you. I have to admit that you exist the same way that I exist. And you know what that means? That I have to give you the space to operate how you need to operate. And in most cases, it's not necessarily going to be so good for me because you have to be you. I can't impose on you my needs and my desires. I can't impose on you my opinions. I can't impose on you anything. I need to make sure that you have your space and you have to shine in your colors. And that takes a lot of effort because I have to admit that you also exist. And you say, hey, I don't agree with you. Well, I'm not asking you if you're agreeing with me or not. This is what you think. And again, we're talking here now very, very general. Don't start taking it to the little details. We're going to start dissecting the whole thing throughout the week. And because I know there's a big argument by saying, wait a minute, so how do I know what's the truth here? And I said that many times. There's only one truth in this world, and that's called the Torah. The Torah is the truth, not opinions. The Torah is telling me what I need to do and how. But I'm now not talking about that. I'm talking right now that in my life I have a wife, I have kids, I have parents, I have siblings, I have neighbors, I have co-workers, I have many people around me. Some of them I can tolerate, some of them I love dearly, and some of them I can't stand them. But they're still in my life. And they're going to be in my life whether I like it or not. And even the ones who are closest to me, it can be my spouse. Most people don't get along with other people because you're in my territory. You're stepping in my area. Whoa, Oh, so of course, we live together. We live in a society. We live in a community. I have to start admitting that I'm not the only one here. You also have your space. What does the admitting means? That you can operate how you are. And if you like doing a certain things, that's you. You can't change another person. Don't try to change anybody. It's the worst thing to try to change your wife, your kids. Don't. They'll never be how you want. This is only maybe in the army works that the drill sergeant will tell everybody what to do and everybody stands. But it doesn't work in real life like that. If you're smart, you know how to let everybody shine in their own color or play in their own tune. Then that's where you get the best sound of everything. If I oppress somebody, I get nothing. Now, how can I really build a real good connection with you that's based on honesty and love? Is only if I let you be you. I can't demand you to be something. Now again, don't take my words out of context and says, wait a minute. If the person, let's take just example, one out of many. I am living in a marriage. Right now the spouse is doing a certain act that is not appropriate. I'm allowed to tell them, listen, this is not appropriate. Please don't do it. It bothers me. This is not what I'm talking about. Of course you have to have a conversation with somebody. If somebody bothers you, you're allowed to tell the person, please don't do it. It's bothering me. But what I'm saying is that I cannot try to redefine you to fit me. Because I don't like what you say. This is very, very dangerous to a relationship that I'm trying to overpower another person and try to negate your existence, your desires, your feelings, your dreams. So, Hod, the Chesed of Hod, is a very, very important step in the week of Hod. So first of all, in order for me to build healthy relationship, then I need to make sure that you have your space and I accept your space. I acknowledge your space, your existence, where you're standing. And it's very important that everybody has their space in my life. And whether you like it or not, that's not your business right now. But everybody has to be who they are. Now, when it comes to the Sphira of Hod, like I told you, we're going to concentrate this week about the admitting, not the thanking. Thanking, we left that already. What do I need to admit? I always have to admit on one thing, to admit the truth. You can't admit something that is not the truth. What do you admit? That it's wrong? So hoda, admitting, is always that I admit on the truth. And I know, we spoke about it so many times, especially in the topic of Tikkun HaMidot, and I mentioned that so many times, that the dominating student of the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, Rabbi Chaim Vital, he has a book called Sharei Kedusha, Gates of Holiness. I saw some translations around. I don't know how authentic or how good they are, but nevertheless, it's a very powerful book, and I highly suggest everybody to learn it. It's not a book of Kabbalah. The 4th chapter is, but the first 3 chapters are not the Kabbalistic approach. It's more of a Musar approach, taught by a Kabbalist. But nevertheless, open this book and look at the Hakdama, the introduction. He says something very deep and very profound. And he says, the reason why we came down to this world is not necessarily to perform mitzvot and to learn Torah. That's the air and the food for my soul. I came down to this world to do one thing, and this is called Tikkun HaMidot, to refine my characteristics. That's what I came down here. The Torah and the mitzvot will give me the tools and the knowledge and the ability how to do it. But I came down here a not refined diamond, which is my soul. Now Hashem says, here's the Torah, here's mitzvot, start refining the diamond. And when you leave this world after 80 years, 90 years, you have to give the Kadosh Baruch Hu a polished, beautiful, shining diamond. That's what I came to do here. It's called Tikkun HaMidot. Tikkun means to refine, but Tikkun also means to fine-tune. You take now a guitar or a piano, you need to tune it. This is called Tikkun. Tikkun is not necessarily just to fix. The words in Hebrew sometimes can take you to different directions. So Tikkun HaMidot is tuning your midot. Taking my anger and tuning it. I need to have anger. If the Kadosh Baruch Hu created anger, it means that it can be used for something good. Everything that Kadosh Baruch Hu created, He created for a purpose to use it for something good. He created anger. He created pride. He created sadness. Why did He create such things? Hashem created anger, so when the Yetzer Hara is bothering me, I should be angry at the Yetzer Hara. Stop! But you have to be angry at the Yetzer Hara, not at somebody that took your parking spot. And if a person has gava, pride. This is not to say I'm so great. It's to have, no, I was able to learn something and to fulfill it. To have some, what is called the Hasidic pride. To have gavah, that I was able to do something. And Hashem gave us jealousy. Jealousy is a horrible sin. But nevertheless, it says in the Talmud, Kinat sofrim tarbeh chokhmah. When you're jealous of a scholar, it will make you learn harder. I want to be like him. I want to know it so much like that. That's a good jealousy. There's one thing the Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't create. I'm sure you heard the famous quote from Rabbi Nachman from Breslev. And Rabbi Nachman from Breslev says, En yaush ba'olam. There's no despair in the world. So people try to interpret it by saying, oh, don't worry, when things go bad, don't fall into despair. Okay, that's a good thing. But you know what really he's saying? He says, why falling into despair? Hashem didn't even create despair. En yaush ba'olam. It's not in the catalog. It's not on the inventory. On the inventory you'll find jealousy and hate and anger. You're not going to find despair. Hashem didn't create it. It's the invention of the Yetzer Hara that makes you fall into despair. So Rabbi Nachman says, En yaush ba'olam, because it doesn't exist. Why do you fall for the deception of the Yetzer Hara? He invented something that doesn't exist. He went, ta-da! And it's an illusion. It doesn't even exist here. So everything the Kadosh Baruch Hu created is for me to use it for something good. Even anger, even jealousy, even hate. So when I'm looking at refining my midot, is taking all the midot that I have. If I have a very strong midat hakas, a lot of anger, then direct this power to something positive. Instead of getting upset because somebody spilled a cup of water on the table. Or somebody did something. So nevertheless, in Tikkun HaMidot, when the midah first starts appearing, then, let me say it differently, every midah will start appearing in some type of a way. Every attribute will, at some point, will appear. But when does it start appearing? When there's a gilui of chesed. When there's a gilui, a revelation of love and kindness. That's the way to reveal the midah. If you have something now in the depth of the ocean, how do you reveal it? You need to bring it up to the surface. It can be on the ground now 2 kilometers into the water. How do you bring it up? You have to bring it up to the surface. Then now I can see what's going on here. So the midot sometimes are hidden in the depth of my neshama. I need to bring it up to the surface. How do I reveal the midah? Only through chesed. That's why all the midot, if you see, every week starts with chesed. Chesed shebagvura, chesed shebenetzach, chesed shebetiferet, and so forth. So why chesed? Because chesed is the side that gives and produces love. When you give and you show love, this is how you reveal things. Come now to a child, scream at him all day long. You're not going to get nothing out of this child. Give the child a little bit of love, a little bit of affection, suddenly, whole different person. Same thing with your spouse, same thing with everybody. If you're a boss and a worker, now be mean to the worker will be a worker, like a robot. Give the worker a lot of love and affection. I mean, you don't have to hug the worker. Just saying, give some respect. Suddenly you see it's a total different individual. So the chesed is the giving side, the loving side. That's how you reveal the midah. Now, chesed shebehod, now we have chesed and we have hod. Now put them together. The easiest way to refine chesed shebehod is making space for somebody else. This is it. If you know how to make space for somebody else, you're on the right track to be a very successful individual. You're not going to be judgmental, you're not going to be angry, you're not going to be disappointed because you make space for another person. I need to know when it's time for me to be quiet, when it's time for you to talk, when it's time for you to take the microphone. Chesed shebehod is making space to another person. Chesed is the power that will, so to say, suck or pump or receive energy from the sphira above it. If you're looking at the sphirot, now imagine the structure of the sphirot, how it's familiar to most people. So you have Keter on the top, and then Chokhmah, Bina, and Da'at. So Chokhmah is the right side, Bina is the left side, and Da'at is the middle. So on the right side, what do you have under Chokhmah? You have Chesed. What do you have under Chesed? Netzach. Right? You follow? On the left side, under Bina, I have Gvura, then Hod. Right? And from Keter, I have Da'at, Tiferet, Yesod, and Malchut. You picturing it in your mind? So Chesed is underneath Chokhmah, which means the Chesed is drawing energy from the sphira above it. That's where Chesed gets its energy, from Chokhmah. What does it mean? It means as follows. There is a Mishnah, there's a few Mishnayot that it's asking, who is a wise person? Now at the summer we have accustomed to read Mishnayot of Pirkei Avot, and you'll find these Mishnayot. Ezu hachacham, who is a wise person? One Mishnah will answer, Haroeh et hanolad. The one, yeah, Halomed mikol adam, exactly. There's a few Mishnayot. One of them, who is a chacham? The one who sees the future, what's going to be birth. Who is a chacham? Halomed mikol adam, that can learn from any person. There are many times that the Mishnah is asking, who's a wise person? There is a Mishnah that says, Ezu hachacham hamekir et mekomo, that knows his space. I know who I am, I know what I'm worth, and I know when to back off, and I know, sorry to say that, I know when to shut up. Now, who's a wise person? That knows exactly who he is. Moshe Rabbeinu knew exactly he's Moshe Rabbeinu. Can you argue with Moshe Rabbeinu? There was not one person in history of mankind that ever spoke to Hashem face to face. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. Can you argue with that? You can't argue with that. Lo kam ke Moshe. There will never be a prophet like Moshe. I know some people don't like that opinion, but to most opinion, Moshe Rabbeinu will always be greater in prophecy from any other prophet, including Mashiach. So all the other prophecies, all the other prophets were receiving prophecy while they were sleeping. Moshe Rabbeinu is up. Right? So to the majority of sources, it says that Mashiach will be a great prophet, but Moshe Rabbeinu will be greater than him in prophecy. Some opinion says, no, it's not true. We're not going to get into the argument right now, but we're trying to emphasize Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu knew exactly who it is. You think he was in denial? He doesn't know that he's a prophet? He doesn't know that he's Moshe Rabbeinu? But you think he threw it in somebody's face? Well, you know who I am. You know who I'm Moshe. Nice to meet you. Here's my card, Moshe Rabbeinu. He knew exactly who he is. So he knew his power. When he looked in the mirror, he says, I am Moshe Rabbeinu. I am the one who received the Torah and I'm giving it. I am the famous Moshe Rabbeinu. It didn't affect him to become a potz. It didn't affect him that his ego was out of control. Lefech, he made him even more humble. But the person needs to know who you are. You need to know all your virtues. You need to know all your good midot. It shouldn't go up to your head that you're so great. And you also need to know all your bad sides. So when the Mishnah says, Ezu hachacham, who's a smart person? Hamekir et mekomo. You need to know when to shut up, when to speak, when to put effort, when to not. You need to know exactly. I always teach it to my kids and I try to teach it to my students. You need to know what you're good at. If Hashem gave you talents and you know that, you need to acknowledge, I am amazing here. Don't go now in the streets and say, you know that I'm amazing? That already sounds like an idiot. But you need to know what you're good at, because then you know to know, okay, Hashem gave me a talent, I need to apply it. Why do you think Hashem gave you a talent? It's in order to do something good with it to another person. So I need to know constantly my place. And I also need to know that sometimes, you're greater than me. That's when I need to be quiet. I can't argue. Not too long ago, somebody came here and we were saying something. And anyways, so I shared the halacha in regards to that thing. And there was a certain individual, he came with all sorts of arguments and not accusation, excuses. And all sorts of, anyways. And then one time when I was on one of my trips, he came here and he started making a whole geshrai out of something. And then somebody told him here, you're totally out of place. The rabbi said, this is the halacha. He opened the books, he showed you everything. Now when he's not here, that's when you're coming and making a whole scene. You're out of place. First of all, let's see you talking in front of the rabbi like that. Second of all, who are you? You're a nobody. So what are you coming with your opinion right now? So why am I saying this example? Because the person tells you you're out of place. So you need to know your place. Sometimes you need to know when to give respect to another person, when to honor another person, when to be quiet. I'm saying it in a vulgar way, saying shut up, but you need to know where you are. And when you are somebody big, you have to also act upon that. So again, going back, the Mishnah says, Ezu hachacham hamakir et mekomo. You need to know your space. When I said that Chesed pulls its energy from Chokhmah, the person that knows his space means that he knows the space of another person. The Mishnah is very, very wise. It's very, very sad to see that most people don't learn Mishnayot. And the Mishnah is, if you read it from the original, doesn't have commas and doesn't have stops. Sometimes you need to put a comma in the right place. It changes the entire Mishnah. And sometimes the Mishnah ends 2 words before it should. So I told you already a couple times that there is a Mishnah that says, Now I forgot it. איזו השמח, איזו העשיר, השמח בחלקו. So the Mishnah goes, איזו העשיר, השמח בחלקו. Who is a rich person that is happy in his own, with his own lot? But it's missing a few words to read it the right way. איזו העשיר, השמח בחלקו של חברו. That he's happy in the portion of his friend. That you're not jealous that your friend is successful. That you're not jealous that he has more money. That you're not jealous that he's doing much, much greater. So this is a perfect example how the Mishnah cuts it one word, two words before it should. And again, who's the real wealthy person? That he knows to value and to be happy for somebody else. That he has a good portion, that he has success and so forth. Here we have the same thing. The Mishnah says, who's the wise person? That knows his space. But add two words to this Mishnah too. Who's the wise person? That he knows that his friend also has a space. That you also have a space. You also have to talk and shine, and you have feelings, and you also have a space. Not to negate everything that is around me. So the real chacham, the real smart person is constantly looking, where can I make you be you? Not me overpowering you. That's very easy to do. I can overpower almost anybody. You want to be smart? Let's see how I can make you shine next to me. You need to shine. You need to shine. Everybody needs to shine. To me, to step on somebody, it's the easiest thing to do. To me, to move back to now say, now you grow. You do good. You take the mic. This is a real smart person that is constantly looking where to first you're more important. You know why he's smart? Because by putting you in your right space, his space is being revealed. That's a Moshe Rabbeinu. You think Moshe Rabbeinu was like, no, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, Moshe Rabbeinu, you have to be the Kohen, you're the Kohen. You have to be the judge, you be the judge. You have to build Aron Kodesh, you build Aron Kodesh. When I know how to make room for you to have your space, I'm a smart person, because by default it will reveal my space. And that's it. And this is why where Chesed is pulling energy from Chokhmah, that you want to apply the Chokhmah here, the wisdom here. Now, we have a whole week of Hod now. We're going to go on a very special journey because it's probably one of the most important weeks of the entire Sfirah, is to know how to make space for other people. And Bichlal, what is one of the dominating things in Sfirat Omer? That we're commemorating the death of the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva. These were giants in the Torah. But still, lo nagu kavod ze bazeh. They didn't give respect to each other. Now you would think such scholars that's what they behave? Yeah, even great scholars. They can get to a point that they don't give respect. We don't take haircuts, we don't make weddings, we don't listen to live music. Why? Because we're mourning the death of these scholars. So even in Sfirat Omer, what do we see here? That we have to focus on how am I giving respect to you? We have to correct what the students of Rabbi Akiva didn't do. They didn't give respect to each other. That's what they did. Lo nagu kavod ze bezeh. So in this period, I need to start developing how am I giving respect to another person. Even though I think I'm greater. Okay, so you might be greater. Doesn't mean that you don't need to give respect to this person. Even if you're smarter, if you're more successful, you're more rich, who cares? I need to know how to give another person their respect. That's giving them their space. And it can be even my kids. Some people look at their kids, they think they own the kids. I don't own my kids. The parents who are ignorant, they try to change their kids. The parents that are smart are letting the kids change them. This is a smart parent. I look at my kid, I'm not trying to control my kid. I look at my kid and I see, what is this kid teaching me? He's teaching me patience, because he's a little bit hard to control. And this kid is teaching me to control my anger, because he presses my buttons. And this kid is teaching me patience, and this kid is teaching me how to love and how to give. I'm not looking at my kids as I have to educate them. The only thing that I'm obligated to do is to teach them Torah and mitzvot. That's what I'm obligated to do. And a smart parent looked at the kids. I'm not talking about a kid when the kid is 50 and the parent is 70. I'm talking when the kids are little, young. I don't look at my kids that I have to educate them. They educate me. They teach me how to really love, how to be patient, how to be fair, how to play the right way, and so forth. So giving respect and honor to another person is not making me less, it's making me greater. That I can look at another person and I can be very wise, very smart, very rich, very successful, and look at another person that maybe might be less fortunate. If you're smart, you're looking at the good point of that person. This is my method. This is what I do. In every person that I look, I right away look for where that person is better than me in something. I have my own healthy ego, let's put it this way. Me, I'm talking about me. I have a healthy ego. I know I'm good at this. I know what I'm good at. I'm not kidding myself. I know I'm good here, I'm good here, I'm good here. Like you said before, you were good in this. I know what I'm good at. I'm not going to throw it at somebody's face and oh, so amazing. But I also know what I'm real bad at. I, a long time ago, came to conclusion and admitted this I'm real bad at. And this, don't even get me started. So when I'm looking at other people, I'm not looking at where am I better than him. I'm looking, where's that person better than me? Oh, that person is better than me because this and this. Okay, that's it. Now we're even. You know, when I used to do it for years, every time I would come to shul, I would look where other people are better than me. Because that's when you makes you real humble, especially when you come to pray in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And sometimes I would sit in a shul and somebody would talk on the phone. Yeah, what? Ah, shut up, we're trying to pray here. And then a person does this and a person does that. It's very easy to be judgmental. And every time somebody would do something that right away my feelings of being judgmental will come up, I will right away shut myself up by saying, you know, he might talk loud, but he came before you. You were late 5 minutes, he came before you. So it's very easy to look at somebody's negative part, much harder to look at somebody who says, yeah, he has a few negative things, like I do. But look how amazing this person is here and how amazing that person is there. And my way of looking at every person is not how I'm better than that person. That's not a good midah. Is to find that person, I might be better here, but that person is a much better singer, much better dancer, much better father, much better educator, much better in many other things. I don't have these qualities. So to conclude, the entire Chesed of Hod is that I need to apply a mitzvah that we're now focusing on Rabbi Akiva. Is Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, of course. We learned that 2 weeks ago in the parasha. But, hold on. But, if you will not respect another person, you will never learn to love them. And we need to love another person. Now I know there's an argument, a lot of people say, how can I love a wicked person? So you don't have to love a wicked person. I'm not talking about terrorists are coming to kill us. I'm talking about another person, I'm looking at another person, that person desecrates Shabbat, so an idolatry or whatever. I don't have to like the person's actions, but I'm still obligated in liking the person's soul. Because Hashem created that person. I also 20 years ago was doing horrible things. But a person can do tshuva. So when I'm looking at a person and I'm pointing a finger, that person is desecrating Shabbat right now. This person is this person is lying, this person is Lashon Hara. I am not obligated to like the actions. I actually have to despise the actions and I have to approve the person against his actions. But I can't not like the person's soul, his being. So when it comes to Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, and I have to apply that, then first of all, how do you love another person? First, respect the person. If I don't respect another person, I will never get to have any type of relationship and definitely not to love him. So, again, Hod is going to be a very challenging week because Hod is when I have to really admit. And admitting is very hard for me to admit when I'm wrong and when you're better and you're smarter and you're more successful and I did something bad. Admitting is when you're really humbling yourself. But now we're starting the week with Chesed of Hod. Chesed draws the power from Chokhmah, and I have to start using my Chokhmah. And like we said, as a Chacham, I need to give you your place. When I let everybody shine around me their way, then by default, my place is defined. I'm not suppressing anybody. Everybody is able to contribute and to affect the universe in their way. It's good for me because I'm respecting you. I'm giving yours place. And this is really Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. And this is exactly the tikkun we're doing for the students of Rabbi Akiva, that they didn't give respect to each other. So again, I need to know where I'm good at and where I'm strong, what my place is, but I need to know also what your place is. And when we need to apply that in some type of we can apply everything that I said in the last 20 minutes. And when we want to do some type of a homework, I constantly have to look around me and to see, do I know how to give room for you? That's you should do that on a daily basis, not once a year. on the Sfira of Chesed of Hod. Every day I have to look around me and to know, do I know how to give space for everybody around me? And if I fail, then I have to start working on the midah. And if I know how to do it, good, tomorrow will be a new challenge. And sometimes it's with the same person over and over and over, and then I'm going to be challenged to know how can I give this person the place that they need to shine. They need to flourish. As you say, flourish. They need to grow. They need to be them. They have to be them. Don't try to change anybody. In any type of relationship, you try to change somebody, this is already a recipe of failure. You have to let the person be who they are, and you move yourself around the person, and you will by default find your place. Follow the Mishnah as a Chacham, who's the right person and knows his space. You need to know when to raise your voice, when to lower your voice, when to speak, when not to speak, when to back off, when to give space, when to let the other person shine, when your time is to be quiet, when it's your time to stand strong. You need to know your space. And that's knowing your strength. It's not knowing your weaknesses. And also when you know your weakness, you know when to give space to another person. Use the chesed, use the chokhmah, the power of wisdom of chokhmah to nourish chesed. That's when the midah starts shining. Because if you know how to apply this midah in your life of hoda, of admitting in every situation, then you're really making space for everybody around you. You'll be the one who's benefiting it from most. A person that is sad and suppressed and pushed to a corner, at some point it releases. That's what parents don't understand when it comes to kid. You press the kid too much, at some point it will release, like a spring. And the more it's pressed, the more it will release strong. Same thing in any type of relationship. In any type of encounter, if I push somebody too much, at some point it will release. Not necessarily from that person, but it will be thrown into my face. A smart person says, no, you do what you need to do. I'll work around you. I'll be dynamic around you. That's a smart person. So we have a very interesting week to go through. We want to know how to apply the entire week, but how? The first sfira, the Chesed of Hod in this case, or Chesed in every time, that's how we bring the sfira out to the surface, with Chesed. How do you do it, the Chesed? How do you apply the Chesed? Bring the energy from the sfira above Chesed, which is Chokhmah. Be smart. My father gave me the best advice he could give me when I was a teenager, and he told me, in this world, don't be right, be smart. If you're smart, you know how to deal with situations. If you constantly fight to be right, even if you're right, who cares? You be smart. So now we're starting this special week. It's the week in the middle, by the way. We're 3 weeks behind, 3 weeks up front. We're right in the week of the middle, and the peak of this week, Hod Shebahod. This is, of course, like Omer, the day that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the pillar of all pillars, decided to leave this world. So we see how the entire week of Hod is the middle of everything. It's what's called the Amud HaTavich, the main pole that everything is leaning on it. To go to depth more in this week, what you need to apply, life will become much more easier to deal with. Challenges will be much easier to overcome because I know how to put things in the right place. I don't get disappointed so much. I don't get angry. I don't have expectations. I learn from other people. Most people don't know how to learn from other people. So I gave one example out of many, how I like to learn from my kids. Some people have the talent to look at every person and to take something and to learn from them. Did you know who has that? David HaMelech. Mikol milamda eskalti. David HaMelech says, I've learned from everybody, even from Achitophel, even from a person who went against me. I learned from everybody, even from my enemies. That's a smart person. So we want to now get into this week in a lot of the right energy, because this is where we can actually do the real ultimate tikkun for what we're mourning for the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva. That's why too many opinions, the Ashkenazis, they go all the way throughout the Omer. Sfardis, by like Omer, that's it, we're done. We did the tikkun. Back to partying. Why? Because now we did the tikkun by the week of Hod. If you didn't do it by now, it's not going to work out. If you didn't were able to do it now for 33 days, to be able to apply some type of respect to another person, you're a lost case. But I'm joking. Of course, nothing is a lost case. We learned that yesterday. Nothing is ever lost. But the point is that we have an opportunity not only to refine ourselves, also to do a tikkun, that's why we're doing that. That's the reason why we commemorate their death, to do a tikkun. Tikkun is a rectification and a refinement. B'ezrat Hashem, we should merit to mamash go into this week and take the maximum out of it, so I can be able to really finally be able to get to the point of true humility, of like Moshe Rabbeinu, that he humbled himself. By humbling himself, the Kadosh Baruch Hu took him up to levels that nobody can reach. That's what the Ramban says. Hashpel et atzmecha, make yourself small and humble. V'inasecha makom, the Kadosh Baruch Hu will rise you to the level where you need to get. Don't try to get to a level that you don't belong there. That's what happened to Adam HaRishon. He tried to climb levels way too fast, so he fell. That's the reason why everything is happening like that. So we can see what happens when you try to climb to a level that doesn't belong to you. Let Hashem do that. Moshe Rabbeinu was very, very calculated. He humbled himself. The Kadosh Baruch Hu already elevated him. When I'm trying to go way above my level, that's where I fall. When I humble myself, that's where my success is, and the humility, the anava, is when you admit. Only when you admit. When you admit, modeh al haemet, I admit the truth, you're becoming a clean vessel for the Kadosh Baruch Hu to elevate you. B'ezrat Hashem, we should have a successful week, that we can mamash refine ourselves from the core, so we continue, because later on we have still the Netzach and Yesod and Malchut. This is the final part of the polishing. So we're really kind of like in the middle. We had Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferet before. Now we finished Netzach. We're going into Hod. So Baruch Hashem, we're doing well, and B'ezrat Hashem, Hashem should make us very successful in everything we do.